Go.
Welcome to part 2 of the Old Testament survey class.
Tonga soa amin'ny zao fizarana faharoa amin'ny fijerevana ny testameta taloha zao, tapany faharoa.
This time we're going to be talking about the history that surrounds the Old Testament times.
Ny androany dia hijery ny tantara manodidina ny testameta taloha isika.
The events of the Old Testament aren't only influenced by what's happening in Israel.
Ny trangan-javatra ao amin'ny testameta taloha dia tsy ny zavatra niseho fotsiny tamin'ny Israely.
Everything that's going on in the outside world is also having an effect on the people of Israel.
Ny zavatra niseho nanodidina any Israely aty ivelany dia niantraika tamin'izany tantarany izany.
The Israelites are always in communication and commerce with Egypt and Babylon and other places.
Israely dia nifandray matetika ara-baritra sy tamin'ny fomba samihafa tamin'ny Egypta sy Babylone ary firenena hafa.
So to understand what's happening in Israel and what's happening in the writings of the Old Testament, we have to understand the history of the region.
Noho izany raha te hafantatra ny zavatra nitranga tamin'ny Israely sy ny testameta taloha isika dia ilaintsika ny mahafantatra hoe inona ny zavatra niseho nanodidina any Israely.
It was an exciting time in world history during the time of the Old Testament.
Fotoana zay tena nanaitra teo amin'ny tantarany testameta taloha izany.
In that time, there were 3 great regions of historical activity.
Tamin'izany fotoana izany dia nisy faritra 3 izay nanana ny maizy azy ara-tantara.
There was the land between the Nile River and the Euphrates River.
Ny tany teo anelanelan'ny renirano Nil ka hatramin'ny Euphrate.
There was also the region of the Indus River Valley in India.
Dia teo ihany koa ny loasa ny Indus faritra Inde.
And there was also what was taking place along the Yellow River in China.
Ary dia nisy ihany koa ny zava-niseho tamin'ny faritry fleuve jaune na ny renirano mavo tany Chine.
There were many things happening outside of those 3 regions, but these are the 3 places where the most long-lasting histories take place.
Betsaka ny faritra hafa fa ireo 3 ireo zany no faritra 3 lehibe indrindra eo amin'ny lafiny ara-tantara.
So, the first figure that we really come to understand in the Old Testament is Abraham.
Ny olona zay fantatritsika indrindra ao amin'ny testameta taloha dia Abraham.
We know exactly where he came from.
Fantatsika tsara ny aviany.
And we know exactly where he traveled.
Ary dia fantatsika koa ny lalana izay nodiaviny.
Everyone who came before him, we don't know those exact details.
Ny olona talohan'ny Abrahama dia tsy fantatsika ny tena antsipiriany marina momba azy.
And Abraham appears in the year 1800 BC.
I Abrahama dia teo amin'ny taona 800 BC talohan'ny Kristy.
And by this time, the civilization in Egypt and in Sumer had already been around for 3,000 years.
Tamin'izany fotoana izany dia ny civilisation tany Egypta sy tany Sumery dia efa nahatratra 3 taona. Sumer hozy izy amin'ny frantsay.
So let's start with Egypt.
Jerentsika ny momba ny Egypta.
Egypt was, the civilization grew up along the Nile River.
Egypta dia nivoatra ny tombo nanaraka ny renirano ny Nil.
It was fertile soil, great for planting crops.
Tany zay tena lonaka tokoa nazona namboly.
Because the Nile River would overflow its banks twice a year.
Satria ny renirano Nil dia nivoaka ny fefy zay nikorianany indroa isa-taona.
So that left the banks of the Nile and for miles inland very, very fertile for planting crops.
Vokatra zany fivoahan'ny renirano Nil manodidina izany dia nandonaka ny tany lavitra manodidina ny renirano ny loharano.
Because they needed to be able to predict when it was going to flood,
satria ilaina fantatra mieloha na ataony prédiction hoe isaky ninona no misy izany fivoahan'ny Nily tamin'ny lalan'izany.
the Egyptians then developed a calendar early on.
Dia nanorina calendrier na fotoanandro ny Egyptianina.
So they began keeping months and days so that they could predict when the Nile would flood.
Noho izany dia nilain'izy ireo ny nanamarika ny volana sy ny herinandro azon'izy ireo miomana.
That was good for us because they started keeping records.
Tsara amintsika izany satria namela record na tahiry ho antsika izany.
So now we can look at ancient Egyptian records and have a very good idea as to when these events took place.
Vokatra zany tahiry antsoratra izany dia afaka mijery isika hoe inona no fotoana nisehon'ny tantara.
Egyptian history is divided according to the dynasties or the families of kings who ruled in Egypt.
Ny tantaran'ny Egypta dia azo nofaritana na napetraka eo amin'ny calendrier araka ny fizaran'ny dynastie na fianakaviana zay nanjaka.
And far back in Egypt's past, they were divided to the upper kingdom and the lower kingdom of Egypt.
Far back in the sense of geography or
Actually, when they say upper and lower, they're talking about where it is in relation to the Nile.
Zarainy roa izany tantara izany dia miantsondro zareo hoe Upper Egypta na Lower Egypta na Egypta ambony ary Egypta ambany araka ny toerany eo amin'ny faritry ny renirano Nil.
And we think when we say Upper Egypt, we think it must be in the north.
Isika dia mieritreritra hoe rehefa miteny hoe upper na ny Egypta ambony dia nieritreretintsika hoe ny faritra avaratra izany.
But that's not the way they determined their location.
Kanefa tsy izany no nanamariany zareo ny toerana.
They looked at the way the Nile River flowed.
Ny fomba nanamariany azy dia ny fikorianan'ny Nil.
And the Nile River flows from the south to the north.
Ary ny renirano Nil dia nikoriana avy any atsimo makany avaratra.
So when the Egyptians were talking about the upper kingdom, they were actually talking about the south kingdom.
Noho izany rehefa miteny hoe Egipta ambony, ny Egyptianina dia ny faritra atsimo izany.
Because the Nile was flowing from the south.
Satria avy any atsimo no nanomboka ny Nily.
So the upper Egypt is in the south and lower Egypt is in the north.
Noho izany ny Egipta ambony dia any atsimo ary ny Egipta ambany dia any avaratra.
Finally, there came to be one king named Menes.
Ary dia nisy mpanjaka antsoina hoe Menes. How do you spell it?
M-E-N-E-S.
M-E-N-E-E-S.
Yes, right. And he united the north and south, or upper and lower kingdoms.
Menes dia nampitambatra ny Egipta ambony sy ny Egipta ambany.
And this may have been as early as 4500 BC.
45.
4500, yeah.
Ary izany dia teo amin'ny taona 504 4500 talohan'i Jesosy Kristy.
It was an interesting thing, but he took the crown of the upper kingdom and the crown of the lower kingdom and put them together, and they called it the double crown of Egypt.
Andratra nataony Menes dia zao, noraisiny ny satroboninahitra amin'ny fanjakana avaratra sy ny satroboninahitra avy amin'ny fanjakana atsimo, natambany izany ary dia tonga hoe satroboninahitra double na roa mitambatra.
So now, Egypt begins to expand its influence not just along the Nile River, but across the Red Sea.
Ary avy eo dia nihitatra ny fanjakana Egyptianina ka tsy teo amin'ny faritry Nil intsony fa nahatratra ny ranomasina mena, Mer Rouge.
They grow all kinds of grain in Egypt.
Maro karazana ny vo zay namboleny Egyptianina.
And so, because grain can travel easily without being spoiled, people wanted to trade with Egypt.
Koa satria ny vo afafy dia afaka afindrafindra azo entina lavitra, dia maro ny firenena nanao varotra tamin'ny Egyptianina.
And Egyptians were the first to begin brewing beer.
Ny Egyptianina no nanomboka nanamboatra labiera voalohany na koa ny karazana toaka.
That made them very popular.
Ary dia tena nalaza ny Egyptianina tamin'izany.
So their first influence is with trade and with agriculture.
Noho izany ny nampalaza ny Egyptianina dia ny varotra sy ny fambolena.
And people will look to them as being their food providers.
Ary ny firenena maro dia nitodika tamin'ny Egypta hanome sakafo.
In fact, you may remember in Genesis when
Fantatrareo fa amin'ny Genesisy
the people of Israel were having a famine. They were starving.
rehefa nisy ny tsy fisikanina tany Israel.
And so they went down to Egypt where there was food.
Dia nidina nankany Egypte izy ireo zay nisy sakafo.
Rome will, 3,000 years later, will look to Egypt for their grain.
I Roma koa dia nitodika ny Egypta taty amin'ny taona 3,000 taorinan'izany mba hitadiavana voa ambolena. Nisy mosarona zany ny teny malagasy marina.
And the Egyptians will become conquerors with military, but first they wind up getting friends through trade and commerce.
Ateorina dia lasa firenena matanjaka amin'ny aratafika ny Egyptianina, fa ny etombohan'izy ireo dia fisaka izany tamin'ny alalan'ny varotra sy fambolena.
When we think about Egypt, the first thing we think about are the pyramids.
Rehefa mieritreritra ny Egypte tsika dia ny piramida no tonga ao an-tsaintsika voalohany.
And these will begin to be built somewhere around 3000 BC.
Ny piramida dia tany amin'ny taona 3,000 BC tany ho any no nietombohany.
It's the 5th dynasty of Egypt that begins building pyramids.
Ny dynastie fahadimy na ny fitondram-pianakaviana ara-panjaka fahadimy no nanomboka ny piramida.
Those pyramids will be called one of the wonders of the world.
Ny piramida dia nantsoina hoe zava-mahagaga, anisan'ny zava-mahagaga eto amin'izao tontolo izao. Merveille.
When they built those pyramids, it was a display of their power and their long-lasting history.
Ny piramida dia nataon'izy ireo anehoana ny heriny ary koa anehoana ny faharetan'ny fitondran'ny dynastie.
Even though the pharaohs of Egypt disappeared 3,000 years ago,
Ary na dia maty aza ireo farao nitondra ny firenena 3,000 taona lasa,
the pyramids still remain.
ny piramida dia mbola nijoro.
The Egyptians will begin to have a period of change and upheaval.
Nisy ny fiovana ary nisy ny azo lazaina hoe korotana na fasairanana teo amin'ny Egyptiana.
And that's when a group of people from the north, maybe as far as Russia, invaded Egypt.
Ary izany dia nanomboka tamin'ny invasion na ny fidirana ankerin'ny firenena hafa avy any avaratra. Ary misy an'izy ireo aza angamba ohatra tonga avy any Russia amin'izao fotoana izao.
They were known as the Hyksos.
Hyksos no fahafantarana azy. How do you spell Hyksos, please?
Hyksos.
Hyksos.
The Hyksos were horse soldiers.
Ny Hyksos dia miaramila mitaingy tsoavaly.
And this means that they moved very fast.
Izany midika fa aingam-pandeha sy miovaova izy ireo, aingana ny fizotrany.
When an army of foot soldiers was advancing, you had a long time to prepare.
Raha ohatra ka tafika mandeha tongotra no hiady dia mila fotoana ela izany vao vonona.
But when horses are coming, they move much faster.
Fa rehefa tonga ny soavaly dia vetivety dia tonga ny miaramila.
They would catch people by surprise.
Ary dia afaka manafika amin'ny fotoana tsy ampoizina.
And they caught the Egyptians by surprise.
Ary dia tratrany tsy nanam-po ny Egyptiana.
So there was a period of maybe 600 years where these foreigners ruled in Egypt.
Nisy teo amin'ny taona 900 teo eo no nanjakan'ireo mpiavy ivelan'ireo teo amin'ny Egypta.
It was during that time when foreign kings ruled Egypt that Joseph came to Egypt.
Tao anatin'izany fotoana izany izay nanjakany avy aty ivelany no natongavany Josefa tany Egypta.
And since the Hyksos were foreigners, they were open to having other foreigners join in their government.
Koa satria mpiavy ny Hyksos, mpiavy avy any ivelany, dia nanaiky izy ireo nisy ny mpiavy hafa koa hanampy azy.
So Joseph, who was sold into slavery and was put into prison, was actually noticed by the butler of the Pharaoh.
Josefa izay vahiny ary natao tany an-tranomaizina ary nikarakara mofo dia hitan'ilay mpanolotra ny sakafon'ny Farao, butler.
So the butler later told the Pharaoh about Joseph, that Joseph could interpret dreams.
Io jereo ny anarana amin'ny teny malagasy hoe mpikarakara mofo na mpanolotra sakafon'ny Farao no niteny tamin'ny Farao hoe Josefa mahay mamantatra ny hevitry ny nofy.
So Joseph was introduced to the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh made Joseph the second most important person in Egypt.
Nentina teo amin'ny Farao Josefa ary dia tonga mpitondra ambony indrindra faharoa teo amin'ny fanjakana Egyptiana.
The Egyptians called him the vizier. We would say prime minister.
Ny Egyptiana dia niantso azy hoe vizir, VIZIR, ary itsika amin'izao fotoan'izao dia miteny hoe prime minister.
And so Joseph and the Israelites survived very well for 300 or 400 years in Egypt.
Ny Israelita dia nivelona afaka nivelona soamantsara teo amin'ny 300 na 400 taona tany Egypte.
Eventually, the Hyksos were overthrown by the Egyptians.
Taorinan'izany dia noresen'ny Egyptiana ny Hyksos.
So the Egyptians wanted all foreigners out of their government.
Ary dia noroahan'ny Egyptiana tsy hitondra intsony ny mpiavina ny vahiny.
And in Genesis, it says, there arose a Pharaoh who did not know Joseph.
Ao amin'ny Genesis dia zao no lazainy, nisy Farao vaovao izay tsy nahafantatra ny Josefa nitondra ny Egypte.
What that tells us is that Joseph and the Israelites were no longer welcome in Egypt.
Ny dikan'izany dia izao, Josefa sy ny zanak'Israely dia tsy nilaina intsony tany Egypte ary tsy bienvenu intsony any Egypte.
And that's when the Israelites were put into slavery in Egypt.
Ary tamin'izay nanomboka ny fanandevozana ny zanak'Israely.
And they would be slaves for a couple of 100 years, 200 years.
Ary dia eo amin'ny 200 taona eo no nanababona nanandevozana ny zanak'Israely.
During that last period, the Pharaoh of Egypt was Ramesses II.
Tamin'izany fotoana izany ny mpanjakan'ny Egypte dia i Ramses faharoa.
And he was probably the greatest of all the pharaohs of Egypt.
Azo lazaina hoe anisan'ny tena sangany lehibe indrindra tamin'ireo farao tany Egypte, Ramses faharoa.
And whenever you see a statue in Egypt, there's a very good chance that that statue is of Ramses II.
Ary rehefa mahita sary vato, sary vongana ianareo any Egypte dia matetika sarin'ny Ramses faharoa izany.
He is the one who built the great temple at Abu Simbel.
Izy no nanorona ilay temple lehibe tao Abu Simbel. How do you spell that, please?
First word is A-B-U.
A-B-U.
And the second word is S-I-M-B-E-L.
S-I-M-B-E-L.
Right.
Teny Anglisy zay.
So he was called the Great Builder.
Izy dia nantsoina hoe ilay mpanorona lehibe, grand constructeur.
He didn't spend as much time conquering outside countries as he did growing Egypt.
tsy dia tena nambabo firenena hafa ivelan'ny Egipta izy fa ny zavatra nataony kosa dia nanamafy orona ny fanjakana Egiptianina nanamboatra zavatra tao anatiny.
So it was during his time that Moses took the people of Israel out of Egypt.
Tamin'ny fanjakany fotoana nanjakany no nitondranisy i Mosesy ny zanak'Israely hiala avy any Egipta.
So many people have estimated that it was the people of Israel who were actually doing all the great building for Ramesses.
Misy ny mpandinika ny mihevitra hoe ny zanak'Israely no nanamboatra ireo trano lehibe tamin'ny andron'ny Ramses.
And this is why he doesn't want to let them go.
Ary zany no antony tsy namelany ny zanak'Israely andeha.
They were the slaves who were doing all the work.
Ny zanak'Israely no andevo nanao ny asa.
But Moses leads them out.
Kanefa Mosesy dia nitondra azy nivoaka ny ala.
And Egypt and Israel won't have much communication for another 500 years.
Ary dia tsy hisy ny fifandraisana teo amin'ny Israely sy Egipta tao anatin'ny taona 500 teo eo.
So that's where we leave Egypt.
Zay zany no resantsika mikasika ny Egipta.
Around the same time, there is another civilization developing called Sumeria.
Tao anatin'izany fotoana zany ko no nivoaran'ny fanjakana zay fitondram-panjakana zay natao hoe Sumeria, Sumeria.
And Sumeria was also a great building nation.
Sumeria dia firenena zay nanangana zavatra betsaka.
Egypt had developed their own writing called hieroglyphics.
Ny Egyptianina dia nanana nanorona ny antsoina hoe hieroglyphe. Soratra Egyptiana, hieroglyphe. How do you spell hieroglyph again?
H-I-E
H-Y-E-R-R
O-G
O-G
L-Y
L-Y
P-H-I-C-S.
P-H-E-S.
Right. So we mentioned that last class.
Efa niresatsika tamin'ny fampianarana teoloha izany.
They drew pictures as they're writing.
Sary no nataon'izy ireo rehefa manoratra. Sary soratra.
But the kingdom of Sumeria will also develop a writing called cuneiform.
Ny Sumerianina dia hanorona fomba fanoratra antsoina hoe cuneiforme.
Right. Theirs, like we talked last time, was a triangular kind of letters that was used by pressing sticks into wet clay.
Efa niresantsika tamin'ny farany zany fampiasana marika telo zoro na triangle ary dia natao tamin'ny inona re zany amin'ny hazo ary dia napetaka tamin'ny fotaka na napetaka tamin'ny tandidra.
Over in Sumeria, they grow up along the Euphrates River.
Ny Sumerianina dia nanaraka ny renirano Euphrate na Euphrate.
There were 3 great cities in Sumeria.
Nisy tanàna telo lehibe tany Sumeria.
There was Sumer
Voalohany dia Sumer,
and Ur, U-R,
dia Ura, UR amin'ny teny anglisy, Ura amin'ny teny malagasy,
and the third is Uruk,
ary ny fahatelo dia Uruk. How do you spell Uruk?
U-R-U-K.
U-R-U-K.
Correct.
U-R-U-K amin'ny teny anglisy, Uruk.
Now, if we remember in Genesis, it says that Abraham came from Ur.
Rehefa jerentsika ny eo amin'ny Genesis dia voasoratra hoe avy any Ora no fiaviany Abraham.
So Abraham was actually a Sumerian.
Noho izany dia azo lazaina hoe Someriana i Abraham.
And he becomes the father of Israel.
Izy no tonga rainy Israely.
Remember, all those before Abraham, we don't know exactly where they are.
Taddio fa talohan'ny Abrahama dia tsy fantatra mazava hoe avy aiza izy ireo.
We don't know exactly where Noah was,
Tsy fantatra mazava avy aiza i Noa.
but one interesting thing is that the Sumerians had an epic